Second commitment. Let's go over to Colossians. If you kept your finger there in Philippians, just flip back to Colossians. Colossians 3:13. This is one of my favorite commitments for this year. Colossians 3, verse 13. This one's going to be a hard one. Going to be a hard one. Colossians 3:13. Hear these words. You must make allowance for each other's faults and forgive the person who offends you. Remember, the Lord forgave you, so you must forgive others. Ooh, those are some bitter words, aren't they? Those are hard to swallow. Let me read that again. You must make allowance for each other's faults and forgive the person who offends you. Wow. Let me ask you, what's the definition of a grudge? Anybody know? Let me read it for you. Deep, ongoing resentment that we cultivate in our hearts against someone else. That's a grudge. A grudge is an unforgiving spirit, an unforgiving attitude. In fact, it's an unforgiving action. Anybody in here ever harbor a grudge against somebody? Everybody? I would admit, yes, there we go. I knew somebody would be awake. We've all had grudges. We've all had people come against us, do things against us that we don't like. Oh, I can't believe that they would do that to my hair at the beauty salon. My wife's holding a grudge to her salon person because she cut her hair too short this week. There's a grudge, if there's a grudge to have one. I don't have any, so I'm okay, and I cut my own, so I can only blame myself. But you know, the funny part is with grudges. I saw this comment on the internet as I was researching this message for this week. Grudges are like nursing a time bomb. I kind of thought that was interesting to hear it that way. Grudges, or harboring a grudge, is like nursing a time bomb. It's just waiting to go off inside you. You ever been so boiling mad at somebody, you're just absolutely ready to go off? Now, some of us, we have these very short fuses, and we let our mouths go off before our mind can catch up and catch what we're about to say. And then we say things, and then people, and then they're going to grumble about it all day long. And I see elbows hitting other spouses because they know. But unfortunately, grudges destroy us. If we hold that grudge, we're destroying ourselves. We're waiting for a time bomb to explode. Time bombs also come in grudges that will destroy marriages. You know, your spouse did something against you, and I can't believe they folded my underwear that way and put it away. Or, can't believe they tucked my socks that way, or folded the kitchen towel that way. And, you know, they didn't do this and they didn't do that. Oh boy, that's probably not going to be good. Or they didn't have dinner on the table by 5 o'clock, or they cooked you Brussels sprouts and you wanted peas. You know, unfortunately, grudges also ruin friendships. You know, families bicker and they do their little things and they have their grudges, and then it comes to our friends. Oh, I can't believe they talked to that person after they did that. And, oh, then they had the audacity to call me and gossip about it and talk about it and get me all fired up. And oh, I was watching this soap opera the other day, and can you believe who they slept with? Well, who haven't they slept with on those soap operas? I don't watch them, so thank God. What was that one show? I can't remember. Days of Our Lives. Our lieutenant at the fire department, that's all he watched from 12:30 to 1:30. So we had to suffer through it. Anyways, you know, grudges split and divide churches. Has anybody ever had a grumbling with somebody here at church? Ever had something go on here that you just didn't quite like? Oh, I can't believe the pastor would do that. Why would the pastor breaks out? I'll pick on me. It's okay. I can take it. Nobody's grudged against somebody else. It happens. It happens. But here is the key term that I want you to remember. Give it up. Stop it. Diffuse the time bomb. Who cares? Really? Who cares? You're holding a grudge. For what? Why? Who cares? Sounds kind of heartless, doesn't it? But quite frankly, it's the best medicine we need. Who cares? You know, I think about just some of these small little petty things. And most of you know that I run it by this. If it ain't in here, we ain't going to do it. Right? Because God's Word is the guide. This is what guides us. This is what tells us what we need to do. You want to hold a grudge? Get over it. Stop it. Let it go. And that's what God is telling us. We need to stop harboring ill feelings, that we're destroying ourselves. If we allow grudges to go on, even in this congregation, and I'm not saying there are, but if there are any grudges that people are holding out there because of this decision or that decision, stop it. It needs to end today. Don't harbor it. Don't leave here today saying, I can't believe it. Come to the cross and get rid of that grudge that you have against somebody else. Because here's the key. It's wasting your time. You know, I saw a TG article this week, and I don't know if everybody saw this. It's by Martha Jordan. Anybody read this week? The title of it is Forgiveness is a Gift and Mystery at the Same Time. If you did not read this in the paper, I will, after church, make copies of this. It is a wonderful article. Hear that, Martha? Good article. It talks about forgiveness. It talks about how we need to forgive others who've even done wrong against us. Because we can't harbor those feelings. Every single day, it'll wear at you. It'll dig at you. And think about the time that is involved. When I think about it, if I sat at home and grumbled all day long over something my wife did that just annoyed the living daylights out of me, what have I done? I've cheated my daughter out of one-on-one time with Daddy. I've cheated this congregation of being able to go back and read a book or do something to prepare for my message every week. I've cheated myself. But it's not just myself. I've cheated a whole lot of other people just because I harbor a grudge. Think about that time that you have. Isn't your time valuable? If you had to set a price for an hourly wage for your time, every second of the day, how much is it worth? And keep track. You know what? I just spent an hour grumbling over this issue with my family. I just got done grudging for 2 hours over this situation that, you know what, it's done. There's nothing I can do to change it. Well, there's 3 hours. If you're worth $50 an hour, let's say, that's $150. $150 is a lot of money, isn't it? I could buy a lot of Reese's peanut butter cups for $150. If you remember a message that I gave a couple months ago, we talked about taking out the trash, right? How many people are still taking out the trash? Anybody? Thank you. Pat? Are we still taking out the trash? Those things, trash in, trash out. If there's trash in our life, get it out. Get rid of it. These grudges that you have against other people, let's talk about forgiveness. Let's talk about renewing our life. Forgiveness, and if you read Martha's article, it's kind of a cleansing of the soul, if you will. By holding grudges we can't forgive. By holding things deep inside ourselves that we can't change. We're not forgiving. We're not cleansing our souls. And the thing at the end of what we had read in God's Word was this. If Jesus can forgive you, can you not forgive others? When I read that, it struck me. It struck me right down to the bone. Because it's the truth. If I, as a sinner, can come to Jesus Christ and He can wipe it all away. As you come up today and you partake in His body and His blood, if you don't believe that that statement is true, how can we receive it? How can we come up here and receive His body and blood? He gives that forgiveness to us for free. It didn't cost us a thing. But if He can do it, so can we. And we have to do that. That's our commitment for this year. Okay, maybe it'll take you a couple weeks to forgive that person finally in your life that has caused you heartache and harm and wasted all this time. Fine. Let it be that 2 weeks, but let it go. Just let it go out with the trash. Let it go. Let's go to number 3. I want to turn to Romans. Romans chapter 12. And then stay at Romans because we have one last verse that we're going to look up in Romans. And then we'll be done for the day. We're on point number 3. Romans chapter 12. We're going to go to the 18th verse. Romans chapter 12, 18th verse, and then stick in Romans because we're going to come back there in just a couple minutes. Hear these words. Do your part to live in peace with everyone as much as possible. Do your part to live in peace with everyone. You know, it's easier said than done, isn't it? Trying to get along with everybody. We all have opinions. We all have ways we like it done, right? It's been done that way for 50 years. How can we change? Well, we are. Because guess what? The Word says it needs to be this way. But everything depends on you when it comes to restoring relationships. Wow, what a theme. What a progression. Letting our past go. Letting grudges go. Finding renewal in relationships. But here, it's about restoring relationships. But the key is you have to be the first step. And I've heard all the excuses. Well, he did it to me first. Sounds like a kid, doesn't it? Well, he touched me first. He did this and he did that. And, well, we can put she too. It's not just men that screw up. So what? So what? We need, and I love this statement. Has anybody ever heard this? Put your big boy and your big girl pants on. I love that phrase. I think it's great. There's another way it can be said, but I'll do it the more gentle way.